Hi friends, and welcome to a 323 map showcase. So you can see I've already got my strand open, but this is a wandering path atlas right now that is just sort of designed for maximum number of monsters on the map, which is good for triggering the Affliction mechanic. So apologies in advance. We are once again dealing with the end of patch shader stuff. I unfortunately didn't get to play a ton this league, and so real life sort of got in the way. So I will try to talk a little bit about stuff while shaders load. And you'll get to see my poor potato go down. But the basics are, there's something called the Wildwood. The Wildwood gives you a second ascendancy. That gives your character sort of unique abilities. In this case, I replace a flask with a tincture. There are other ones that give you very specific charms. And so it adds on top of your regular ascendancy. So you can see that I have both the Gladiator nodes and then also the Magi node, the Warden nodes that are associated with it. Yeah, let's see. Okay, looks like shaders are done building. So the way that Affliction works is you go into the Wildwood, and I'm sure you've seen this 1,000 times, and then you chase these sort of purple guys, and you'll see sort of the total amount of wisps accumulating down in the bottom. And different wisps have different effects. Oh man, shader cache rebuild stuff is tough. And so as you go through the Wildwood, you'll run into events. So this is, I believe, the Beyond one. But you run into the King of the Mists, and the King of the Mists torments you in various ways and gives you rewards as a result of that. Yeah, so he gave me a full ritual vessel there, and there's like cool lore moments in here that explain what's going on and why you're in the mists and why you're fighting stuff. So there's 3 different colors of wisps. Purple gives you item rarity, yellow gives you quant, and then blue is sort of additional conversion to currency. And so this has been a ludicrously lucrative league for people who played a lot, because the wisps empower all the stuff in your map. Just like, you know, if you played a decent chunk of time, you're almost guaranteed to have found a mirror that level of thing, because this compounds with player quantity and rarity. So overall, really neat mechanics. The league was very lucrative, as I mentioned, in terms of player income. So lots more divines and various other stuff. Yeah, you can see how I was such that like my filter is not even hiding transmutations and fusing stacks and stuff like that. So we were at fairly early on in the process, and that'll show up later in here. But yeah, so the Wildwood is not a timed experience. You just sort of wander around and like this refreshes your vision and such, and so you wander around, and eventually you run out of vision juice, and it'll port you back to the real world. And so this is a very bad Wildwood. Like, good Wildwoods are 6,000 or 7,000. But yeah, so now there's a bunch of monsters in the map. The monsters are empowered, and we can do the standard trigger delirium, you know, because again we're looking for just added monsters. And let's see, let's find a Wildwood empowered one that doesn't just instantly die. And so you'll see periodically pop up under the target script, like, oh, okay, like this is Vivid empowered, or this is whatever. And those monsters will live substantially longer. Yeah, so there you saw one that was double empowered. Those monsters are substantially harder to kill. Oh boy, look at computer's not happy with the new patch. It's a good thing this character is fairly survivable. So as we're sort of bopping around, having fun, murdering monsters, you'll get sort of additional drops based on the empowered afflictions and all of that. So you can see that this map, like, by standards, is just sort of generating a lot more raw stuff than you would expect. But as we're playing a Gladiator, we get the bleed pops that are always very satisfying. Immune to shock and chill, but yeah, you can see, like, okay, let's at least get 5. Computer. Sad potato computer. Compiling shaders, not happy. Okay, that was probably like a DD or something in there. Okay, so here's an example of like a cool loot conversion that happens because of the Wildwood. And so that 6 link probably would not have dropped if the monster that I was fighting hadn't been empowered. So that's the gist of it. The build itself is quite a bit of fun in maps. You just sort of run around and click buttons, click Lacerate, and then things bleed and then they blow up, and you are quite durable. Modulo, oh hey, hello. But, you know, the bleed does not do a ton. It does not do a ton of damage. I think I'm only like 4 or 5 million total. So that's the gist of it. And then you can see sort of the side effect of Beyond. Giving a bunch of secondary monsters. There's, you know, ghosts in the map, like. Okay, yeah, so here's an example of, like, that one actually took a bit to die because it was empowered, but it had additional rarity, so it dropped a chaos. So I lost my delirium because I was talking and lagging at, like, one frame per second, so I'm just gonna bop up ahead. As you can see, the density with Wandering Path and Growing Hordes, both of which are removed in the next patch, is pretty wild. You know, this is just a strand that is absolutely stuffed to the gills with monsters. And the reason that I'm only 97 and some change is because I do occasionally just pop to whatever random collection of stuff. I mean, like, realistically, it's been, oh, well, I guess no more Beyond for me. Realistically, it has been clicking eater mods. I will just click something dumb like 80% physical reduction or something along those lines, and then I'm dead. There here, again, you can see very, you know, and we'll see this later with Cirrus as well. Like, I can look here, but it really is not going to meaningfully change things. It's just you gotta sit there and tank it. Yeah. I got some breaches. That's nice. That'll be decent XP. I wish I'd triggered these before my Beyond expired, but fine. So again, we just have these for monsters. Well, we're still double-digit FPS, but not one of the really bad ones. But yeah, like we were on the struggle bus this league. Like, I'm picking up single splinters here. It's, real life sometimes gets in the way of gaming. But yeah, so overall, would I play Gladiator? Killing lots of monsters and maps, absolutely fun. There are builds you can play with it. There is a version of like charge stacking that uses Lacerate of Haemorrhage in conjunction with the Maven belt that increases damage over time from your charges, and so they stack like 12 charges, and it requires basically like a ton of mirror tier gear and like really nice stuff. But it does oodles and oodles of damage and has like screen-sized Lacerate of Hemorrhages, whereas, you know, obviously like mine is just a piddly little melee guy. You know, he's honest and fair in fighting things with actual melee-sized abilities. But you can see the XP on these maps, because there are so many monsters, is very good. Like, I'm getting like 50 mil at 97, and, you know, the character is not particularly fast at doing the map because it's the empowered wisps. So yeah, people spent a lot of time in Strand this league, stuffing it full of league mechanics and magic binding, using the Wildwood, like Strand and Cemetery, Jungle Valley, places like that. So yeah, that's what a map in 323 Affliction League looks like, and thank you for watching.